Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Time Machine Diaries, the podcast where we throw ourselves headfirst into history and try not to lose any fingers along the way. I'm your host, Cullen. Today we're setting sail. Literally. Well, sort of. We're going to ancient Egypt to check out one of the most badass industries of the time, shipbuilding. From fishing boats to massive ceremonial barges for pharaohs, the Egyptians weren't messing around when it came to getting on the water. And of course, they did it all without power tools, screws, or even nails. So how'd they pull it off? That's what we're about to find out. Ready to dive into the sawdust and sweat of the shipyard? Let's fire up the time machine. I arrive at the bustling docks of the Nile, just outside of Thebes. The scene is chaotic. Men hauling lumber, carpenters shaping planks with tools I can barely identify, and the constant rhythm of hammers on wood. A foreman approaches, his arms crossed, and a skeptical look on his face. You're not here to stand around gawking, are you? If you're here, you're working. Grab a mallet. It's not long before I'm paired with Khufu, a shipwright who's been working the docks for decades. With a mix of pride and sarcasm, he promises to show me the tools that built an empire. Let's start with the basics, because Egyptian shipbuilders weren't exactly shopping at Home Depot. Instead, they relied on an arsenal of handmade tools, all designed to work with the materials at hand. Mostly wood from imported cedar, acacia, and sycamore trees. Here's the lineup. The adze. Khufu hands me what looks like an axe, but with the blade turned sideways. This, he says, is the adze. It's the only thing keeping us from floating logs instead of ships. Shipbuilders use adzes to shape wooden planks, carving them into the curved forms needed for the hull. It's versatile, efficient, and surprisingly sharp. Khufu demonstrates slicing through a plank like it's butter. I give it a shot and nearly lose a toe. Yeesh. Now the bow drill. Need a hole? This is your guy. He points to a bow drill, a wooden handle with a string that spins a sharp point when you pull it back and forth. It's ancient engineering at its finest, used for drilling holes in planks to lash them together with rope. Watching the drill in action is mesmerizing, but it's also slow as fuck. Patience, Khufu says with a shrug. You don't rush perfection. Next, we have chisels. Every shipyard worker carried a set of chisels for carving precise grooves and slots. These are for the details, Khufu explains. Holding up a tiny razor-sharp chisel, miss a single measurement, and the whole ship leaks. And if the ship leaks, you're swimming home. Next, we have rope-making tools. Before nails became common, Egyptian ships were lashed together with rope. Workers used tools like spindles and spools to twist papyrus and palm fibers into strong, waterproof rope. Khufu shows me the process, and it's surprisingly intricate. You don't think about rope until it snaps, he says with a grin. Next, we have the saws and mallets. The saws are nothing like the ones we use today. They're made of bronze, with wide, jagged teeth that look like they've seen better days. Despite their crude appearance, they get the job done. Slowly. Mallets, meanwhile, are everywhere, used to hammer planks into place or to gently convince joints to fit together. Now we are building a ceremonial barge. Khufu takes me to the centerpiece of the shipyard, a massive ceremonial barge being built for Pharaoh Amenhotep III. It's easily 70 feet long, with an ornate prow shaped like a lotus flower. This, he says, isn't just a boat, it's a statement. He walks me through the process. Plank assembly. Unlike modern ships, Egyptian boats didn't use a keel as their backbone. Instead, they started with planks, shaping and lashing them together with rope. Workers carefully sealed the gaps with resin to keep water out. Now carving the details. Prow and the stern are where the artistry comes in. Carpenters use chisels and mallets to carve intricate hieroglyphs and symbols into the wood, honoring the gods and the pharaoh. This isn't just decoration, Khufu says. It's protection. Once the barge is complete, I'll be floated on the Nile to ensure it's seaworthy. If it sinks, well, let's just say heads might roll. Khufu pats the hull. It'll hold, he says confidently. It always does. As the day winds down, Khufu and I sit by the water, watching the nearly finished barge catch the glow of the setting sun. You know, he says, we don't just build ships, we build lifelines. Trade, war, religion. None of it works without the river, and none of the river works without us. It's a simple statement, but it carries weight. These shipbuilders, with their hand-forged tools and endless patience, weren't just craftsmen. They were the backbone of a civilization that spanned thousands of years. And just like that, another day in ancient Egypt comes to an end. Big thanks to Khufu and the shipbuilders of the Nile for giving me hands-on lessons in history. If you enjoyed this episode, share it, leave a review. I won't judge. Next week, we're heading to feudal Japan to explore the life of a samurai. Spoiler, it's not as glamorous as it sounds. Until then, keep wondering, keep exploring, and remember, every masterpiece starts with the right tools.